Alright, what's up guys? Back with a video, and this is card cleaning expert. Right here, I just lick the card. Give the card a good lick, yeah? Right, and here we are with some shit on the card. Right, so anyway, a guy, Zuggers, I think it was, who commented, saying, have I seen this video? So basically PSA has gave out a survey, and they did, you know, Nat Turner owns PSA, right? And they was talking about how Kurt's Card Gear, I think it is, and there's another guy who done a video the other day, like 2-3 days ago, and he was on about how they get a card like this, right? And then let's say the card has like a whitening on the corner, right? So you can literally do it with your nail. You can make a card have whitening on it with the nail, yeah? Let me see if you can see this, because I'm not looking at the cam. Right, so basically like here. Right. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, no. Right, so this corner don't have no whitening on it, right? So if you get your nail and then like you flick it, but what'll happen is you'll get whitening on the corner, right? So these are just energy cards, so we literally don't care about these. But if you like scratch the corners with your nail, if you do it, you won't be able to make whitening on it. And what he did was, I'm going to use a Sharpie just for a joke, right? We know it's black, but you know, these old, so when you buy like old Charizard cards off eBay, you have to watch out. Like, let's say you're buying, what's the 1999 Charizard 40102, right? A lot of people like to fucking re-ink these because they're fucking cunts, right? So let's say like on the side of your card, right? The side of your card is white. So you're going to know the difference if someone gets a fucking Sharpie, yeah, and puts this shit in the middle like that. So as they're checking the edges of the card, right, you can see the black on there, right? So you're going to see the edges of the card, and then PSA is going to reject the card because they're going to know the card's going to be recolored, right? So you get charged like, I think it's like $25 for this shit if you send in a card that has been hit with the edges being recolored. So what the printing guy did is, I don't remember, I think his name's AM to PM Pokemon, right? He did a video and he was like, basically, you know, you get some ink and you get your finger, right, and you literally like dab it on like a stamper, right, and then you like slide it across to get it on the corner, but it won't go on the edge. So, you know, Pokemon, like, I think Pokemon and their shady practices of how they print the English Pokemon, I think it's like the grading thing is more like it's weird, right? Because like if this is like a base set energy, right, and you get this as a 10, you could like sell that for say 100, right? And the value increase just by putting in a case is insane. So this is what I mean about like grading, right? So grading is important in the fact that these guys are doing it for value. So PSA is making money by grading these cards for value, right? So anyway, let's just I don't want to knock this camera off, but basically, like, let's say this is a PSA card, right? This is a graded PSA card. This is a PSA stand that I made because PSA, your stands are shit and my stands are better. And yeah, I will send you these. You know, I want a partnership. yo, look, these are sick, yeah, right? So anyway, this card does not exist as a grade 10, right? So if you was to say buy one of these old cards and then sit there trying to match the ink colors, and then, you know, like, imagine this card doesn't exist as a 10. It's crazy, right? Like, some cards don't exist as a 10, and then people are like, oh, yo, these cards are really rare. And it's like, well, no, it's not rare. Most of the modern stuff is like not rare, which, you know, we're talking about card cleaning anyway. Well, so we got an energy, right? So you've seen like where these guys, they'll have like a crease in their card and they'll be like, oh, we can get that out. We put it in a dehumidifier and stuff, and they roll the creases out, right? Like that is a very good way that these people can do this, right? But what I'm going to get into is basically PSA rolled out a survey, and it was on JoeG and Nasty. Right, I could probably link the video below this video. And then it says, right, so he said, how likely are you not to purchase the following add-on services for card grading? Right. Now, the first one I'm going to touch on, because Graders Notes provides additional insights into why the card received a certain grade, right? Identifying what and where the defects are on the surface, corner or centering. Right, so as we know, PSA does not, they do not specify if the edges, the corners, okay. There's an argument to this, and we can take both sides. I'll take both sides of the argument, right? Because let's say you get this card, this is an Imakuni's Dodo, this is a Gem Mint 10. So as you know, if you look at the back of this card, there is no whitening on it. So you know why this card got a 10, because the centering is fine, the edges are fine, the corners are fine, the surface is fine, and you know there's no whitening on the back. So for realistically, do you need this specification to a modern 10? The answer is technically, in my eyes, no. But then you've got AGS, right? So you know AGS give you the QR code on the back of the card, right? And then you can scan this, and then it will tell you the scale of what the card got. So you know they will say like the centering's a 9. Everything else is a 10. The card is a 10. Yeah, it's basically how it is. They're not going to say it's, you know, like, I'm going to get into another video about this because, you know, this is kind of, I got some things to say around this specific topic, and I know it's going to, like, I know the video is going to get dislike bombed, but it's like, who gives a fuck? And then it's like premium images, right? Professional high resolution images of your card with 3D imagery, right? So this goes around to 3D imaging. Yeah, this is like, this goes, so kind of ties to AGS because they put your card in a machine, and then the machine goes and it scans the card for a 3D imaging, but they're doing that anyway to be able to grade the card. So to pay extra for PSA, it doesn't seem like kind of relevant. So you know they're just, what they're doing is they're just testing the waters on to see how this would operate, right? And I'm just going through the specifications on why they were doing this. So PSA branded fitted sleeves, right? So a PSA branded fitted sleeve. So we, you know, a slab sleeve, right? So you know we have a slab sleeve like this, right? This is a slab sleeve. You put a slab sleeve, you know, a PSA branded one. To be fair, everyone's gonna want these as low price as possible or efficiency, because they're just casing the slab. There's no point in having a fancy, you know, sleeve over your slab. Realistically, like, you know, it don't matter what is on the slab. It could say, you know, ARD on it for something. It doesn't matter, right? So what they got into at the bottom of the survey was the card cleaning, right? To pay $3 for cleaning and light buffering service to remove fingerprints, smudges, dust, and reduce minor damage surfaces, surface scratches prior to grading. So you got a card, you know, it's got a bit of like, I don't know, you put some dirt on it, right? You lick it and you put some dirt on it, right? Now, do I agree with cleaning that off before you submit the card? Yeah. If it comes off with water or like, you know, rubbing alcohol, yeah, which is not high strength, you know, you'll be able to take, rubbing alcohol dries really quick, so it's like you put it on and you can get rid of it. There was another, you know, mixture that this guy was using to take ink off stuff. So, for example, let's say you got you know, a card like this, like a, what's this, a yellow marker, right? and you put a yellow marker all over the Pokeball, right? And then let's say you can get that off. If you can get that off the card, then it makes sense, right? So for example, we get another energy card, right? And then we get a black permanent marker. So we put, you know how these people, I used to buy like Charizard and they used to have like some weird letters on them, like let's say AG, yeah, right? And you'd be like, or randomly in the Pokeball it'd have like number 9. Like someone would go in their collection and then put like a number 9 on the back of the card, so like that's number 9. Like, well, it already tells you on the front of the card what the grade, what the number was anyway, so it makes no sense. So card cleaning, right? And PSA basically said like they don't want people to basically, like, let's say you got an old card and it's creased. Now you get rid of the crease by like humidifying it and then submitting it to PSA. Well, in the process that PSA might not have been able to tell that the card was creased in the first place, so you know it may go through undetected and you've made the card get a better grade. Now if it was going to get like, now the thing with creases is PSA's grading on creases is kind of sketch, because like let's say there's a crease within the card, right? Like we basically just bent one in there. Like we bent one in there. I don't know if you can see it. This camera's not like crazy focuser, but basically like you get this like a crease on your card. If you can get the crease out of the card by like humidifying it and stuff, and then that card, let's say it's a like a Neo Lugia, it would make sense to do that. But if it's a modern card, if it's an old card, it makes sense to, like, I wouldn't say restore it completely, because you're not going to get it from, well, I never know. I don't know how good these guys are or they're doing these cleanings, but basically like an 8, if you can make that card an 8 to a 9, or you can make, some people might be able to make it even a 9 to a 10, but PSA is going to have a big like time. I don't think you're going to be able to completely like go against the cleaning aspect or removing certain aspects of the card. So like where they're saying fingerprints and smudges, like realistically I don't think a fingerprint should be taken into the grading, because realistically you can just like get rid of a fingerprint anyway. So like if you've got fucking oil on your finger and you go like that and you go and you stick it on, then yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, clean the cards down, or give your cards a wipe down like with a fibre cloth or whatever. But they're just testing to see what they can charge for this, like highly likely add-on services for card grading. All the fees per shown in the parameters. Nat Turner still wants to make some more money, right? Which is not which is not always a bad idea, but it's kind of hard on your people that have supported. Like you support a company, it should be kind of, if there's a process, like let's say you got a dirty card, right, and then you send the dirty card in, and then they should kind of, it goes down to the quality of employees on who's there as well, because they might be like, well, yo, this card could do the clean, like, and then you get an email, would you like this card to be cleaned, as it's, we found, I don't know, some pizza grease on it, right? That's a good one, isn't it? Billy's shit authenticating, he's a fucking scumbag. But anyway, yeah, we can clean this fingerprint off if you want to pay an extra $1, like $2, then yeah, alright, makes sense. But it depends for the noobs, because the pros who grade with PSA, that have been grading with PSA a long time, they're not going to need this, because they're gonna know how to spot that before submitting their cards anyway. So I'm going to say card cleaning, do I agree with it? If it's whoever's doing it, well, cleaning your card and taking the dust off of the fingerprints and some pizza grease, yeah, I would say yeah, clean your card, submit it, then get it graded, improve the grade. And if you can get like if it's personal collection or you're gonna sell it, well, if it means be, doesn't it? If they can't detect it, it is what it is. But thanks for watching my video. And am I bothered about PSA trying to charge for it? Well, you get charged for pretty much everything that shipping, casing, They're a business, right? And you know the dollar's a Ponzi scheme, so they're gonna need to keep their business afloat. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.